So it's April 9th here in southern Ontario. It's a rainy day, and normally people like to take their videos on sunny days, but I thought it's spring, let's do it on a rainy day. Did I mention it's April 29th, 2021? I think I did. It's about 11 degrees out here, which is kind of chilly for the end of April. But anyway, we can see a lot of the plants are green. My red maple here is dead. This mulberry, which I planted beside it, has not started to leaf out. So I fear that it is dead as well. We will see though, because sometimes due to genetics, plants don't bloom as fast as others. But down here, we have some flowers in bloom. We have the staghorn sumac right there, starting to bud. We have the rose bush here, leaves all over the plant. And in pots we have, you can see the Korean pine in the far corner, another evergreen, I forget what that's called. There's ash. You'll see some Polonia there. The tall ones in the pots on the right, those are apple trees, early bloomers. So the garden the side is fairly green now. On the left here, that's my largest Polonia Tomentosa, and you can see that it now is budding. So there you go, it's budding now, and we will definitely see more growth as the growing season continues. And over here we can see an Eyelantus Altissima, very juicy buds right there. And if you look behind it on the ground, you will see asparagus. So there's asparagus there. And it's only one spear, so we're not going to eat that. And there you'll see another Polonia. And then over here amongst the bricks is one of the fastest growing ash trees. So we'll see how much taller it gets. Right now it's about almost 3 meters high, and it looks like it's getting a lot taller. Against the fence we can see black raspberry. They're growing well. Something I found out about black raspberries, that the first year shoots are green and powdery, and then they become red over the winter, and then during the second growing season those red vines create berries. But then they die the next growing season, or some of them die anyways, and then you got some that are left that continue to have new shoots, and then the red ones will have berries this growing season. Anyways, that probably didn't make sense, but I think I might be confused. Anyways, yeah, so over here there's actually a weed here called garlic mustard. And I found out through a little bit of research that they're actually edible. So in the first year it grows like this, and then in the second year it'll grow a lot taller, and then have flowers. And they're edible in both the first and the second year, but they're very bitter, and they do have a little garlicky taste, but they are very bitter. So I just ate the leaves one time, and they're a good wild food. I think people actually planted them on purpose because they were introduced from Europe. But yeah, that's a free wild edible right there, in addition to the black raspberries. And so I just have piles of dirt back here and back here. So we can see that one of the pawpaws that I separated from the mother plant is actually starting to leaf out. And so also the catalpa here is also starting to bud. And then more dirt. You can see in the middle of the dirt there's there are green leaves. Those are potatoes that from the supermarket that sprouted, and I planted them there. I'm also going to try to grow other crops, so I'll show you them once they have actually started growing. This American elm right here is leafing out nicely. And also some apple seeds that I planted in the winter. They're all growing really well, so we'll see. Hopefully they grow nicely. There's a Manitoba Maple here. It's a survivor. As you can see, the trunk there, it kind of grew from under the shed. So here's the compost pile at the very back of my place, and there are 3 red mulberry that I moved back here. This one is leafing out nicely, but the other 2 are not really, so hopefully they're not dead. We have some honey locusts down there, very tiny, that are starting to leaf out. This is only their 2nd season of growth. And over here we have the largest red mulberry, just growing like crazy all on its own. And beside it is a Robinia pseudoacacia, which is also growing nicely, or black I forget what it's called again, but Robinia pseudoacacia. It's growing nicely as well. And then a bunch of other wild trees, volunteer seedlings, apple in the pots there, some mulberry. Behind this little playground thingy here, I have this bitternut growing back here, so that's going well also. And there's a Virginia creeper along the fence, which is also starting to bud. And here's the grapevine growing on the opposite side of the house from the side garden. And as you can see, it's also budding out. I trimmed it earlier this April so that it wasn't quite so messy, but as you can see, it actually goes all the way up the side of the house. And if we look up at the 80 or 100-year-old black walnut, it's just starting to bud out, not quite. So anyways, that ends today's garden update. Hope you're all doing well, staying safe, and we hope for the best for everyone.